Hi everyone, I'm Helen from LifeScale. I'm sorry, that's my cat Kuma. Can't wait to join the live webinar today with all of you. So first of all, thanks all of you for joining today. That as you're here today, I believe that you're already ready to face your fear of going live because you get all the answer you need today. So by now, I think you likely heard about live shopping, or you even make a few posts on LinkedIn about live shopping, but you might still have that fear of clicking that go live button because there many things can go wrong in a live, there many things can happen in a live, there are not many things that you can control during the live. But today, we invited our expert, Marco, to explain all this fear to you and then provide all the answers that you can get to help you get equipped for your first live shopping series. When it comes to the fear of going live, they usually comes with two parts. The first part is the technical fear, and then the second part is a strategy. For the technical part, it's something that you can really easily tackle as long as you have a good checklist to check everything that you can check beforehand. And for the strategy part, it's not like it can't really prepare, but it takes time for you to accumulate the knowledge and do a lot of A/B testing and then figure out the best formula for your live shopping show as well. So let's not delay anymore. Let's invite our guest today, Marco, that are expert in the live streaming and selling for brands. So hi, Marco.
Oh, hello, Helen.
How are you doing?
Thank you so much for the invitation. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. And I hope all of you are safe and keep safe in these so challenging days. And let's share some things about overcome these fears, this also this live streams myths, and let's go and do this.
Yeah, so for those who haven't met Marco before, so Marco is a marketing, creative, and innovative consultant that has incredible expertise in the world of live streaming. So he'll surely be able to put you at ease with his knowledge and experience in how to face all this fear. So today we will be talking about three types of fear. Usually the three types of fear that people have before they go live is the fear of not having the right or good technical setup or equipment. The second sort of fear they will have, it's like, what if something goes wrong? And then the final fear that they usually have, it's like, okay, what about the result and performance? They haven't even done anything yet, but they were like, what if we don't nail the show today? So we'll be talking about it one by one with Marco today. So let's tackle the first one first about that, Marco. So I know that many of our people in our community, they were like, oh, we're doing live streaming, but I don't have a production level class of camera and I don't have a crew for that. Can I do live streaming? Can I do live shopping?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You just my starting kit for live streaming, a cell phone and a tripod, and with a clip to to to, to send the cell phone. It's more than enough. Okay, because when I started, it was with this kit. I started even a worse cell phone because by these days cell phones are really good. So it's more than enough. You can make amazing things to start. And the other thing is about technical things. For instance, if you spend $1,000, $2,000 in the equipment and you don't like the experience, what will you do with all that investment you made? It's something you should think. And the other thing, and this is kind of a paradox. When you buy expensive things, you expect a better outcome. You expect a better production level and everything. But you're starting, you can't do that because it's how things are. You can't be perfect, or at least you can't excel at the first time. So at the end, oh, I bought these expensive things and I don't like the end result. So start with this. It's more than enough.
Yeah, in fact, what we've seen among our client, most of them they start with almost all of them they start with them just a smartphone and then with the tripod. The reason is because the reason smartphone the resolution is pretty cool, right? And with all sort of streaming software that we can easily use with the mobile phone, it's also something that's very handy for a brand to get started and without investing, or actually you might not even need to have that sort of investment for a production camera because what about live streaming is about the authenticity. So probably this is what your audience is looking for as well. And speaking about the streaming software, Mako, I know there are a lot of different choices available. We have, for example, StreamYard, we have like OBS, we have like Larix. Is it a lot more complicated and difficult to use compared to, let's say, IG Live or like Facebook Live?
Well, I don't think it is, but I'm doing this for more than 5 years. So, but the experience I have mostly with this tools, StreamYard, is that it is very easy to use. For instance, and it allows you to do more things, like having this nice branding, uh, making different overlays, which is good also for your show. They will bring more light and more identity to your show, and this is important also. And but I don't see that they are difficult to use. As I said, one of the good things about StreamYard, for instance, is that most of people who are in the, because there's a group to help, most of people say it's very easy to go live. Okay, I think, for instance, Instagram is very easy to go live. Yes, it is. But for instance, going live on Facebook is not that easy as it seems. And the other thing, for instance, if you want to bring some guests to your show on Facebook, you can't do that natively. You have to have a tool like this one, like StreamYard, for instance. OBS is it's a very powerful tool. It's free, but it's not easy to use. It takes a long learning curve to manage to use OBS. So I don't. And the thing is, at the end, we are afraid of everything. We are afraid of the camera. There's so much buttons to hit. To, but we think there's not so many buttons, but we think that. So if you start using difficult tool in an environment that you are already afraid, I don't think it's the right option. So as usual, keep it simple. And for instance, using StreamYard, it's a very good option.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Plus, like the things that you're seeing around us right now, you see a logo, you see some banner like around us with our name tag. It's something that is really easy to add on with StreamYard or with a streaming software like OBS. With OBS, of course, you can do a lot more like complicated thing if you have a whole team to support you, or if you figure out a kind of like a template that you would like to play around with. But I know that also, for example, like Larix, that it's also a really good alternative that you can use to pair with your smartphone to use it. Because basically, like me, I'm not an expert in the live streaming. I'm an expert in live shopping, but like going live myself, I've been in there probably like 1 year, 2 year doing live show. And when I first get started with Larix to do the live streaming, to do live shopping show, it was really handy and easy. Basically, 2-step copy and paste. So I think there are a lot of fear that I also have before I get into this that I thought, oh, there is like a bunch of link that I don't understand any characters in there. I have to paste the key. What if I paste it wrong? If you do like a good technical run before that, I think the kind of fear can be overcome by a lot of practice as well, right, Mako?
Absolutely, practice is it's very important, because I confess, live streaming is the Formula One of content because it's very difficult. Yes, it is. It's very resource consuming, even with you, because you have to put energy doing this. You're not sitting reading articles and then writing down very easily. You have your time. If you want, you can make a stop and then you come back. No, it's real time. It's real energy. It's hard. It is. But in the opposite side, it's very thrilling. It's very good to be in here and interact with the audience. I'm here watching on YouTube the comments, and we will be there answering you. And but it's very important this, and we will talk in 2 weeks about this advantage. But it's very important, this connection you made with your audience on live stream. So one thing you can do. There are 2 things you should be aware of. One, practicing is the best teacher you can have. Okay, it's practicing. And the other thing is you can train on fake lives, if you know what I mean. Pretend you're live, but you can go, for instance, you can go live on private destinies, if I made myself clear, and then the risk is it's zero, and you can just pretend you're doing a live show, showing your things, interacting with the audience, for instance, pretending every time, of course. Maybe, Helen, in the future, we can make something to make a guide, a stepping guide, how you can start on live streaming. We can, maybe in the future we can, but yes, practicing is good, because you won't be okay. Oh, okay, now I have to hit this button now, and you lose your audience because you're doing. But if you are prepared, okay, I know what I have to say. I need to make a strong introduction. I need to and make people understand why they should be tuning in. I should, for instance, if I'm selling, I should explain properly how this product work, how overcome the objections, everything, how to interact with people, how I can answer the questions and everything. It's very important. If you know everything in advance, you will feel more comfortable, more confident to face the camera. And I'm sure about this. In 1, 2, 3 months after doing this, you will look back and, oh my God, how I evolved! Amazing. This is it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think doing a test beforehand, it can definitely reassure you because you have all the button touch once. So if anything happen that you sort of like know, and when you're panicking, you have a memory in your brain that, oh, it's here what I can do, and here to stop or here to restart, etc. But let's take a look. We already get quite some question coming in, Marco. So hi Ryan, by the way. So we got a question from Madison that is, which type of brand do you feel like we adopt the live shopping trend the fastest in Europe or in North America? Like, do you think a larger brand with a larger talent pool of host, or a smaller brand will be able to adapt to this trend like faster?
I don't think it's a matter of size. I think it's a matter of mindset and culture. Okay. Uh, if you have a small brand, because for instance, you on your live scale on your portfolio, you have huge brands, right? But I've seen Portuguese stores, dressing stores, making kind of a live shopping. Okay, so I think it's a matter of mindset, also a matter of survival. Okay, it's very important. If you trust in your products, if you have an audience, if you think that you can make an entertaining show, you can solve problems to people while you're live, I think it's your time to go and do live shopping. I don't think it's a matter of not at all a matter, oh, I won't do live shopping because my brand it's unknown. I won't do live shopping because I'm small, because no, it's a matter of, okay, I need to do this because I need money, I need to sell. I think it's more about this. Okay, you can do it better because you have budget to buy good equipment, to buy, for instance, to have someone to make the shows, an actor or a celebrity or an influencer, maybe. But in the flip side, people will love your business lots of times, most of the times, because of you, because it's you there. It's you they were used to see on the store, to interact with. So it's very important to keep this identity, this branding, because people will love to listen things from you.
I think that's very true. Like, if I can give one example, we see in our community that one of the really popular show that we have and did really good, as in not just money about sales, but also the engagement, is the founder herself being the host of the live shopping show to do a new product launch. So basically, she was describing the story behind the accessory that she was designing, and then the other one was the Christmas sales. you can hear that it's a Christmas sale, so it's a really sales heavy show. But the whole show, she was like just being herself as a founder to give a recommendation, to mix and match in a chain with you, which one's going to go better with the Christmas dress that you're going to have for the dinner, or maybe like is that a good gift for you for the year. Like it's really that personality that people or brand are able to show via live streaming, and that makes people feel really close with the brand. So you got like a way stronger community bonding. You can get a lot more engagement because it's real life. It's really like a conversation. It's not like a comment on a post that you might reply after a day. And the most important is when they're really happy and a pleased viewer, they see the product right below, and because they already love the brand, and that's sort of encouraged them to shop as well. And I think that is also an answer for Ryan's questions. Like Ryan asked, like as a show host, how is live shopping different than the live streaming? And I think the main difference is you need to have a really soft selling skills if your community is more that kind of personality. And in a live shopping show, if you know that your community is like, oh, I want to chase for all sort of deal, like a good discount. I want to chase for like an exclusive bundle. And that the host need to really take this mentality to live shopping show, and then to amplify that perks during the lifetime, because it's only that period of time that they'll be able to get that deal, right? That's the precious things about that. So I think the question to Ryan's answer probably is really just be yourself and emphasize the things that's during that time. I know if Marcos also have some opinion on that, like as a host, what do you think is different between doing a live shopping show and live streaming?
Well, you should have these selling skills, and the good I think also the focusing on live shopping and on normal live streaming should be different. Because for instance, if you go to a live shopping show and you start talking about different topics and everything, you will lose the point, and you will lose the focus on what you're doing. Okay, so it's good to, for instance, if people keep coming with questions, parallel questions, for instance, okay, this is a good question, but I will answer you after. Okay, because otherwise you will, because for instance, if you have 10 products to present and sell during the show, and you spend more than half of the time answering parallel questions, you will lose the audience, you will lose the focus, you won't reach the goal. Okay, so it's very important to be laser focused when you're doing these situations. And also about preparation. If you have to prepare, of course, a normal live stream, but if you are doing this selling, you should prepare even more. For instance, usual objections. If people, okay, I know, yeah, it's good, but I have this problem with that. If you know beforehand that this question may appear, you will be more prepared to answer fast and act fast. And you will give trust to people who are on the other side. And trust is very important, but in selling is crucial. It's a matter of life.
Yeah, I think that's a really key point of answering the question regarding to the product. It's something that you really should emphasize if you're positioning that live shopping show sales as an objective. Because normally when you do live streaming, maybe we can see a lot of that during the pandemic, right? A lot of brand doing like maybe self-care section that's hiring a yoga instructor just to help us to have an instructor to be with us to do yoga exercise, etc. And I see one of the viewer, Jennifer, is asking, how long, oh sorry, Jennifer is also asking for a guide that Marco has been mentioning. So for anyone who is interested in any sort of tips and guide or checklist that we have been sharing today, if you want a soft copy of that, you'll be able to subscribe. I've shared the link in the chat. You will be able to subscribe to academy.lifescale.tv/live feed, and then you'll be able to see all the checklists on there as well. And going back to Jennifer's question, it's about how long do you think a live should last?
Well, it's kind of the 1 million question, and there's no an only answer, as usual. It depends. For instance, if you are selling a lipstick, is different than if you are selling something that people will spend $2,000. Okay, because I think that there won't be lots of questions about lipstick, but I think if we are spending $2,000 in something, there will be maybe lots of questions to answer. Just maybe. It's the first thing you should do is try. Okay, because it's the best way to see if the expectations fits the reality. Okay, but I have some things important for you to understand. Is think about people's life. Okay, what are they doing at the moment you're broadcasting? Are they working? Are they taking care of their kids? Are there, look, how many free time do they have to be watching your show? Well, maybe half an hour. So maybe your show should be around 20 minutes. Okay, and then split that 20 minutes for each product you want to sell. Or on the opposite side, think, how much do I need to explain how this works to my customers?
I think that's a really, really great tips and tricks for it. I hope people are jotting notes right now, because we also get asked a lot about this question, and I always say, like, it's really depending on your brand, your personality, your audience, because, like, exactly, if your target audience is moms, you want to pick a specific time that mom is not going to be busy, and you have to think about how much time moms can take in their day if they're your target audience or viewer, right? And so, okay, enough Q&A for now. Let's go back to our fear so we can finish that, so everybody can have what they need to get started in live shopping. So we talk about the fear of the good technical setup or like the equipment, and then just basically a smartphone and tripod will do. And there are a lot of apps like Laurix that easily pair with your mobile phone that you can go like almost as easy as Instagram. Not gonna lie, gonna be the same. You have like one more step, but it's really almost as easy as I can just pick it up in like 2 minutes. So there we have a second fear that I think we might want to provide checklists on. This is the fear of what if something goes wrong. Is there something they can control, Marco, or like no, actually you cannot control anything?
Well, as usual, maybe half 50-50. What you can control. You can control what you're about to say, okay? You can prepare and, again, stress on preparation, okay? It's very important. Okay, this day I will talk about this, and this. Okay, on this is important to talk about, we have this credit line that people can use to pay. We have these situations that we improve this product and now you can do this and this, and before you couldn't do that. For instance, which again, objections are a very important thing when you're selling, because the most properly you answer these objections and you overcome that is the more, because objections appear when people wants to buy from you and they have that final fear, if I made myself clear. So if you know that people, okay, yeah, I think your product is good, but I think it's very expensive. Well, but we have this credit line. Oh, really? Great. Or you can have a discount or something. If you understand which pain points people have about buying from you, write it down and write the solution and tell to people. It's very important, this, okay? If you know, well, the product is good. If you know, well, the audience, it's also good. And live streaming is a great way to know your audience. This is what you can control, okay? What you can't control, internet. If internet goes down, you can't do nothing. For instance, if you're doing from a computer, this could, for instance, you can be out of electricity, a fail of energy could happen. You can't control, for instance, if a troll arrives. You can't control that, but you can control how do you feel about that? How do you react to a troll? This you can control, okay? I don't know if you want to talk about this later, Helen, or I can talk right now.
No, it's good. No, it's good. I think it's a really good point that you make, like a big scenario, like electricity went down, internet just shut down, and there is nothing more we can do. But what is the positive side is before the show, they can do a lot of dry run, right? To do like audios, like video feed testing, or assuming the internet's going to suddenly cut off, you can test if your Wi-Fi or your internet connection is steady.
Absolutely.
Is there some, maybe you can provide some suggestions for them? How can they do when they want to test the audios or video feed and then the Wi-Fi connection as well? Is there some method that you can provide?
Okay, absolutely. Well, if you go, for instance, let's start with internet. Very, very good situation. One thing I've learned is that you need at least, and on internet, the main thing, the main important thing is upload speed, not download speed. It's upload speed. If you can have around 10 megabytes per second upload speed, this will be good. But it doesn't mean you can't do live streaming without that speed, because I made it for a long time and I made it. Okay. Good thing, use wired connection, because Wi-Fi is not that stable. If you can't use wired connection, be as close as you could from the router. Okay. Because this will provide you a more stable signal and internet. This is good. And you can, if you Google speed internet speed test, there's a speed test by Ookla, Ookla, which is a very good speed test. But also, Google has his own speed test. Okay, so you can do that. Image, it's very easy to test because it shows. Okay, for instance, if you connect camera, if it shows, okay, usually it's okay. Okay, one of the problems is about microphone, because it's harder to test. But tools like StreamYard, Restream, they have this leveling, and if it works, it's working. But again, another important thing, when, for instance, I started lots of shows, not so many, but a few shows without sound. There's no problem by doing these small mistakes. Nobody will die. Okay, it's very important, and you should not be, oh my God, my life so frustrated, because I've seen people frustrated because they couldn't go live, and the live was not going good because of technical situations. Don't stress, don't overreact on that, because it's acceptable. Okay, you don't have to think, just finish the live and start over again. There's not a problem. Okay, so this is truly important. But speed test, it's important. Okay, the image you should check again. Also important, please don't have noises around, don't have all windows or doors open. Okay, an important thing is the background. Your background maximum should be neutral. The best is to reinforce your message. Otherwise, you will lose credibility. You will lose trust from your audience if your background is providing noise to your show. This is also important.
I see. So regarding to the speed test that Marco just mentioned, once again, if you want to get the checklist of the kind of tool, recommended tool to do that, just subscribe to the livescale.tv and academy.livescale.tv/livefeed. We'll be providing all the lists over there. And I think what Marco is saying, that it's really important that you experience and you just sort of get all those mistakes out. And by how can you do that and not show it to your audience? I think that's where the dry one, or like rehearsal or practice comes in, right? I think we see a lot of clients that they also do a lot of test event or like dry run before their show. So they sort of encounter those small mistakes that they wouldn't notice before they're going live. For example, there's no sound. Oh, because I didn't talk on the mic. Next time I will remember during the live
Absolutely.
time to talk it on. I think let's not speak it like it's a really like alien experience, right? We all on Zoom. These days we're all on Zoom. There must be some occasion that you mute your mic and you forgot. Right. It's
Absolutely.
exactly the same. That you forgot that you have your camera on, that you show your pajamas, or you forgot to have your camera on, etc. Things that you will face in Zoom, because it's a real-time conversation. It might fairly happen during the live, but you will understand. You will know what to pay attention after a couple of live. I think that's what Marco is trying to encourage everybody, is like just do a lot of practice. So you notice what kind of thing that your memory, it's not in place yet to pay attention to that, and then you feel at ease for doing that as well. So we have solved what if something goes wrong. The fear about that part is something that we can check, and then to prepare your mindset. So let's talk about the last one, the fear of the performance and result, because I know in our community as well, there are quite common fears like, oh, I'm doing my first live shopping show and I want it to be a big production, but I'm worried that the investment is not going to be worth it, or like, what if not many people are going to come to join us? What if I don't make any sales as I wanted? What can they do? What kind of expectation you think they should be setting, Marco?
No expectations. Everything, it's a learning step. I used the analogy about a small boy trying to walk. Do you think that a small boy or girl, when they are starting to trying to stand in feet, they are thinking about, okay, in a few years I will be riding a bike or running? They won't. They just want to stand and then try to walk. And that's it. It's just that. Because at the beginning, you will make the mistakes of a beginner. You will have the results of a beginner. You will have everything that a beginner deserves and usually gets. So don't expect too much at the beginning. It's the expectation is, don't expect what you should expect at beginning. Have fun, learn, and at the end, okay, let's see what I did good, what I did wrong, and let me see. Okay, I need to improve this, but I made this good, I made this good, and just by the fact of going live, you're above millions of people. Millions. Oh, I will say thousands of millions of people. So be proud of that, be happy because you made it. And then start giving baby steps. Okay? Of course, if you have a well-known brand, if you have a client base is big, okay, you should expect to sell something at the beginning. It's normal. But if you have a small store, if you started for not so long, if you have a small customers, okay, things won't be amazing at the beginning. But think on the long term, every time.
I totally agree with that, Marco. I think what Marco is trying to emphasize is like, you gotta start like as soon as you can, because it's a lot of test and learn. And we can see a lot of early adopter, they've been starting, for example, like from last year, they've sort of figured out what kind of host works the best for them, what kind of formula of the content that works the best for their audience, even the length of your live shopping show, that we just get that question, that they know what is the ideal length of their live shopping show for the audience. And these are the things that you can maybe learn from other industry or your brand in the same industries from their experience. But if, like, live shopping is pretty new, you don't get a lot of people to take reference from at this point. So it's really important, if you want to get ahead in the game, that you have to start doing those things. But I think it's also really important to understand that it's just like doing a YouTube channel. You won't get like million subscribers from the beginning. But if you want to have already really, really good quality video up from the beginning, so you're ahead of the game, not just the beginner, there are a lot of resources you can try to explore. For example, a position that a help that we're going to introduce in the latest series, like a remote live producer. As a brand, you probably don't have a live shopping team or live streaming team to handle these content, but you don't have to have them right away. you can also hire someone that has the expertise on that. So you skip a lot of learning already on the technical side, for example. And all you have to figure out and focus is the content that fits your community the best, which your marketer should already know the best about that. They just have to tilt it back that it's going to be fit for the live shopping purpose, right? So Marco, I have to stop you a little bit here just to answer the question, because we got a lot of question coming on our channel here. So we have a question asking, like, what if something wrong happened? What should I do with the community? Like, should I go back live? Should I maybe I don't know, find a way to notify them, or should I just like, get panic?
Panic is not an option. Panic is not an option. Let me. It depends. Okay. For instance, if you can't get back and start over again, it's what I should do. For instance, I had some live shows with a guest, and for instance, my guest was sick. There were technical problems. We couldn't make it. And what you can do, make an announcement to your audience. Okay, we were planning to go live today. I'm so sorry, due to technical problems, we couldn't make it. Soon we will give you another day to do this. If the problem, for instance, the internet crashes and you're doing a live show, if you can, in a space of 10 minutes, get back. If you can't, just let people know what happened. Okay, I'm so sorry. We will be back soon.
Yeah.
What can happen? Maybe that could be 1, 2, 3 haters, trolls. Oh, you suck. It's not good. And these people are not important for your business. Okay, they will be complaining about everything. There's one thing I learned from my business life is there are some types of clients that you should not want to be your clients. Okay, because they will complain about everything, and they will keep you frustrated and everything. So there are that people. That's that. But what you should think, you don't recognize, you don't give importance to these situations. Okay, just give importance to what is really important. Those people who love you, who love to buy from you. That's that people that you should be taking care. And
I think I just want to add a little bit on the chat, like troll comment. I think apart from like how you handle the comment to put it in the really humor rate to respond to that, definitely going to add some point to your brand. But it's also important to know that these days there are a lot of company technology that's providing a chat moderation. So like, for example, when you're doing live shopping, there is like easily a chat moderation that you can probably just ban those troll comment. You can filter out some swear word if you want. You can remove a specific comment. There are a lot of things that actually people who provide the technology think about that. So they provide solution for you to handle this kind of scenario and situation. It's really more important that it's on your side, that you need to know those functions exist. And you need to do a dry run. So when those things happen, it might not happen all the time, right?
Absolutely.
It might happen like 10 times after you go on live. And you still remember, I can actually maybe remove the comment or ban this an appropriate user that is maybe it's not bringing fun to the whole community. So these are also the things that we need to like understand. It's all ready for you. You just have to look into that and get used to using that as well.
Absolutely. I think, for instance, I made hundreds of live shows. I only had once this situation. Okay, by that time I didn't deal the proper way the situation. But if it was today, I'll know how to manage it. It's something you should think. It's very important how you manage, because it's your show, it's your house. You're the owner. You're the host. You should make the rules. You should set the rules and make them clear. Okay. So, for instance, if there's one people ruining the experience of you and your community, if that person keeps ruining the situation, it's your fault. as a host, if someone is ruining the situation, you should put that person in their place by blocking him, by muting him, by something to keep things going smoothly.
I think we all have a sort of like control over our brand property, right? No matter on Facebook, on Instagram, or anywhere, it will happen. It's just in what form, because it's a live stream. So it's in the form of chat message that's coming in. And just like any other platform, there's always a way for a brand to have the control to be able to moderate and to make sure that the experience is pleasant for all the community that join in today, or for the whole brand safe image as a whole as well. And I saw another question that I think is actually exactly what Marco would like to say about the performance and the result for the live shopping show. So Madison was asking, like many people might think that, okay, because I'm worried about my performance, that something might go wrong, and I also worry about the results. So I want to do minimal resources and input. So instead of doing a live, I want to just play a pre-recorded video. What's your opinion against? So I know that you think live is the best, right? Because like you have the real-time interaction. And what other arguments or like point of view that you will share with people who think pre-recorded video may be the way to go?
I agree with pre-recorded video if it doesn't make me feel as a viewer stupid. Because, for instance, you pre-recorded a video. Okay, let me know your questions so I can answer you. And then people start making questions and nobody is answering you. As a viewer, I feel stupid. Okay. I understand that maybe because we don't have the time, we don't have I don't feel safe by being this here without the net down. But for instance, even the networks don't like too much that you run a pre-recorded video as a live video. Okay. Yeah, if there's no other way, it's okay. Okay, it's not my thing, but I think you can do it. But don't make people who are watching the show feel like they were stupid because you are pretending something. If you are honest at the beginning, look, this is a pre-recorded video. I'm doing this, and this. I will have this guest or whatever. I'm trying to sell this. It's not a problem for me. If you make this statement, if you make the disclaimer at the beginning and you don't try to fool your audience, okay? And if, for instance, you are following the video, the live, the pre-recorded live video on chat, for instance, if you are interacting in real time, this could be okay. Otherwise,
That's a really good point, Marco, because like if I'm an audience, I attend your live because you tell me to be there at 10 a.m. If today that's a pre-recorded video, all the question has been asked, it's not going to be answered. Next time? Why would I still show up on the time? Because this has make no difference than the video that you put in your account. But I do think that if pre-recorded, like we said, starts small. If a pre-recorded video really is the only way that can make you feel at ease to try the technology out, I would say, like Marco advice, having a chat moderator really will help a lot because you're still maintaining that real-time interaction in a text form, even though you're not doing it in the video. And I think me as a viewer, an opinion that I can share is say, when I make a comment, and if the viewer pick my question or just give me a shout out, you feel special because you make the time to come here and then someone actually say my name because I left a comment. So I think these are the really cool thing and really nice thing. That's why people enjoy watching live and joining a live and interacting with the host. Is the really like the authentic interaction, right?
Absolutely. It makes a lot of difference. And on selling, even better. Absolutely. Sometimes it may just think about this. You are watching a live show, a live selling show, where are 10 people looking at this. You're showing a product, and there's someone who asks something. something that, for instance, 3 more people on the audience had that same question, but because they are shy, they don't put the question. By answering in real time to this question, you may have made 4 sales because you answered the question 1 people made in real time, and 3 more were afraid to ask, but they have that same question. It's a lot of difference for me.
That's actually really good point that we also seen a lot during the live, because like when we're watching our client shows, there are a lot of client asking, oh, I want to see what if these accessory go on top of this, with this match. And then the host will like, okay, I think this question has been asked a lot, so I'm going to show to you guys how it looks like. And then you will be able to see in the result. We got like a really record big breaking show in the end of the day, because a lot of question and answer. And I'm sure, like Marco said, a lot of people, maybe they're too shy to ask. They also have this question in mind. They also make a purchase because you answer that question. It's the thing that you can prepare a lot of things, but good thing about live shopping show, it's like you co-write the content with your audience. Your audience asks you a question, and then you answer that, and that makes it a great content. Like we were like having a headache to think, oh, what is the great content to give? And sometimes the great content is what people are going to ask you and how you're going to respond to that as well, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. So we've talked about 3 fear today. That we talk about the fear of not having the proper setup technical wise, and the venue, where should I go? The fear of what if something goes wrong, and which Marco is really nice, prepare a checklist for all of you. Then I'll be able to share with you in our website. You'll be able to subscribe. I share the link in the chat as well. And then we share the last thing. What is the expectation? And what if like the fear of the performance or the result of the live shopping is not going well? So let me just take a last look and see if we have more question in that. Okay, so we have one last question for today, Marco. So the question from Caroline is asking, do you have any camera? You already explained that the smartphone is good enough. So you have any mic or wire recommendation for people to like just get started? Because you said microphone is a huge problem, right? Like something that you mentioned.
Microphone, for instance, if you are starting with the cell phone, the headset they usually provide is more than enough. Okay. Again, the thing you should think is, I need to start right now. What do I have? I have my cell phone. Maybe it's around $20, this thing. And I have my headset. Start with that. Okay. Then, for instance, you can buy a microphone like this one, but microphone is very difficult to advise because, for instance, if you are making a live shopping and you want to use a table and you want to put the camera down there, and then you have like TV shows, maybe it's better to use a lavalier microphone. Rode have very nice microphones on that. Okay, I think it's one of the best brands, and they are affordable, Rode, and you should think. But before investing that, just try with what you have. Okay, if you say to me, okay, I have $1 million to invest on that. Okay, do it. But it depends. For instance, if you want to be close to the camera, like I am, Blue, it's a very good brand. Samsung also, and there's another one, Shure. They have amazing mics, but they are good. But when something is good, usually it's expensive. that's the question. But yes, I think I have a list on Amazon about some equipment you should buy. About webcams, even though, for instance, you want to broadcast from your PC, from your computer. By these days, I recommend to use, if you don't have webcam, use your cell phone as the webcam. Okay. There are some, if you Google it, apps to use my cell phone as a webcam.
That's a good tip as well. That's a really cool tips. Like if someone feel, for example, if they want to pair with a more advanced like StreamYard OBS system that is with the PC, but they don't have a good camera. Smartphone camera these days are really good as well. I think that's a really good tips that I can include it in the checklist. So everybody who's like want an alternative, they will be able to get that. And also for the brand, if you haven't you can't catch what the Marco was saying or the brand name for the microphone, we will also be including all of that in the checklist, so you won't miss any of that information as well.
Absolutely, because the main problem about webcams is then since lockdown started and the pandemic started, the prices raised. For instance, I have here one webcam which I bought it around 6 years ago, and I spent I think $55. Now it's around 150. It's crazy. I don't think it's for me it's not good to advise, oh, buy this camera, because I feel a pain in my heart by saying so. You already have a cell phone. The quality of the camera, average camera on a cell phone, it's better than this one. So use it.
Exactly.
Just be sure that he's connected to the charger, because if it gets away from battery, it's not good. Okay.
Yeah.
And understand, but you can use a cell phone as a source, as the live stream source, or just as a webcam.
Amazing. So today we discussed 3 types of fear that basically everything technical, you can almost test it beforehand. So like the one, if you're taking note right now for the whole webinar, so basically everything that Marco has mentioned today, the technical part, you can do a lot of dry run to get used to that, to trying to encounter the situation. And then the other part of the fear, which is the strategy part, like Marcos mentioned, you can come up with a lot of different scenario. How would you respond to that if that happens? You can come up with the sales pitch or not if your show is not as sales oriented for the content. But also it's really important for the other 50% of your content is a lot of test and learning that you have to learn how to immediately in real time to collaborate and co-write it with your viewer and your community, because they will be asking you a question. And I think that is not something that you can really learn by just thinking about it and preparing it. You can only learn by encountering the situation. So probably getting started as soon as possible to encounter all the technical difficulties in your dry run and to try to test and learn what is the best content for your audience together to co-write with them will be the best solution for that as well. So apart, like now everybody's have the note for how to face the fear and embrace with the fear. So next episode of this webinar with Marco, we'll be talking about what are the benefits to use live streaming to sell. So Marco already previewed a little bit during the live today because of the authenticity that you can answer 10 people's question in mind, the too shy to ask just by answering one question from the chat, etc. If you want more information like that, especially if your objective of using live shopping, these technologies, really not community bonding, but to sell. And that will be the episode that you don't want to miss. So it will be on the 29th, the same time, 10 a.m. EST, that we will be talking about that. So you can either follow Marco's LinkedIn or like follow livescale.tv and page. You'll be able to get the most updated news on that as well. Is there some last line or last word, Marco, that you want to share with everybody before we finish today?
Well, don't overthink about going live. I think one of I will talk about my 3 layers of respect you should have. This applies to everything. These 3 layers I like to talk. First one, respect your identity. Okay, so for instance, on this case, it's about your self identity and the brand. For instance, if you're working in a corporation, don't try to imitate someone else because you think they look good, that the way they do things works good. Don't fake because that's the problem about live. It's the problem about live streaming. If you are faking, sooner or later you will be spotted. Okay, first thing. Second layer of respect is respect your evolution. So as I said before, if you are a beginner, you will have insights, outcomes from a beginner. Don't try to, this guy, for instance, I have 5 years on live streaming. If you want to, at the first live, be doing live streamings as I do, I think we will be frustrated because it's impossible. Because I think thousands of hours in front of a camera. It's not fair for you to think. Just think. It's before thinking about the outcome you will get from the. Is it fair to expect that much from me? Is it fair for me? Maybe it's not. I'm beginning. I should have beginner outcome. That's not just that. Okay, in 1 year, you should look at the first one and you should laugh. Oh, look, I was so bad. But now I improved. Now I'm good. And the third layer of respect is respect your audience. At each moment, give them the best piece of content that you have at that moment. Okay? Again, you should not will to send the same message, be as good as Gary Vee, for instance, as Tony Robbins, because they are as Oprah. No, it's not what I'm expecting for you. But I want you at the end think, I made the best I can. It's the best way for you to respect your audience. Is what they expect from you.
Great. Thanks a lot today for Marco sharing all the tips. And then thanks everyone for tuning in today as well. I hope this has been helpful and useful for everyone. And we'll be seeing you guys again on 29th, 10 a.m. for the what are the benefits of using live stream to sell then.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Marco. Bye, everyone.